Live from the Rant Radio Network, you're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis,
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat.
And we are back here at the Real Estate Rant. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my broker.
And welcome once again to the towers of the Rant Radio Network.
The foundation. The foundation here in the local radio city of Whittier. Joining us in studio today, we have Mr. Willie Soto, broker owner of W Management. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Welcome.
And also his account manager, Miss Liz Tarazona. I hope I said that correctly. I apologize. Give us a call, 855-693-4897, or you can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. That's realestaterantradio@gmail.com. If you give us a call at that phone number, you can win a $25 gift card for Stevens Steakhouse, located in the City of Commerce. Compliments of Carlos Cruz and now the Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, now Pico.
Yeah,
huh?
now Pico. Can you believe that?
So he went from Bell Gardens to Downey, and now he's in Pico.
Yeah, man.
So now he's my local guy. So now he's a local guy for me.
Exactly. Give us a call, 855-693-4897, or you can win a $200 gift card to Gardens Dental. They're located at 7218 Garfield Avenue in the City of Bell Gardens. Mr. Wallace Gonzalez from the Breakfast Club, also from Solar City, has offered a $25 gift card to Lazy Dog Restaurant in the City of Brea, and I believe what other location?
West Covina, I believe.
West Covina. You can win one of those gift cards if you happen to get this design deal, Mr. Pantalones, if you please. You can win a $25 gift card to call in and get this particular design. You can Wikipedia if you like. No cheaters on this show, but this particular house, I believe, is located in the city of Detroit, and there's also some of these particular styles located in the city or in Minnesota, if I remember correctly. So every week you can email realestaterantradio@gmail.com, and Mr. Alonso Rodriguez will give us the questions and answers. What do we got this week, Mr. Alonso?
This week's question comes out of Long Beach from Jim, and it says, I sold my house and the new buyer wants to check on the house before closing. Is it a good idea for them? Is that a good idea to let them in before closing? What do you think on that, Alex?
Are you asking me, or?
Well, it's a question he's asked. How am I answering that?
Absolutely not.
What do you mean absolutely not? That's probably one of the requirements. A good agent will probably require that they go in and check the home before.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about the final verification.
Yeah. We're not talking about moving in. We're talking about him letting them in. And a good agent, like I said, a good agent will absolutely request. And not only that, there is a final walkthrough that needs to be done.
Mr. Broker.
I would hate for my client to go in there and then find out the appliances are gone before, close of escrow.
Can I ask a question real quick? Mr. Broker, what do you require your agents to do?
Well, I require them to go in there and absolutely do the final walkthrough.
Right on. Yeah. So anyway, to answer the question, and I would, as an agent, ask my broker to definitely do a final walkthrough on the property. It's usually required by the state of California and the Bureau of Real Estate now otherwise known as the BRE. They, contractually speaking, it's actually on the RPA, the Residential Purchase Agreement, I believe on page 8, about the final verification of employment. There you go. There I go, mixing things up, right? That's for loans. Final property verification. That's what I wanted to say. That is contractual. It is actually part of the contract, and the contract is incomplete without it. So just to answer that question.
So to answer that question, absolutely, it's a requirement, and you should let your buyers come in and check out the house before close of escrow.
Been hitting the sauce a little there, Alonso.
I wish.
Give us a call, 855-693-4897, and ask myself, Alonso, Liz, or Willie a question on any of these topics, or you get the design deal. If you get that particular home, you can win a $25 gift card, either to Lazy Dog, Stevens Steakhouse, or a $200 teeth whitening. Do we have any other questions, Mr. Alonso?
There's another one that comes in out of San Diego, and it comes from Marco. And this question reads, it says, if I find a listing that I would like to view in person, how would I go about it?
Well, you would call AGR and Associates here at 562-822. Just kidding.
Your preferred real estate agents, right?
That's right. Typically, real estate agents are referred, but we will more than likely I'd love to have your phone call here. You can call myself or Alonso or even Willie. Willie's a broker as well, and Willie can help you with that.
And not only that, I think it's a good idea for you to have your own buyer agent represent you. You know, you want to always get the best. How can I say it, Alex? Help me out here. I'm kind of coming on a brain fart here.
Drink a little water, Alonso. Have some water.
No, well, you always want to, you want your agent to represent you, and you always want them to look up, because
Did you just have a brain fart?
We got to remember that the fiduciary duty is on the seller's behalf. So absolutely, get a buyer's agent to represent you.
Did you just have a brain fart?
Yeah, exactly. Well, one of the other things, I spoke with somebody at the office today, and they were asking me, Alex, what do you charge if a buyer comes in and wants to buy a piece of property with you? I said, well, my services are free to the buyer because typically the seller pays my fees, right? It's like, oh, really? Shut up! Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. So to that particular question, they absolutely should have somebody represent them, because a lot of times buyers think that if they go and they talk to either the listing agent or they go to a for sale by owner, that they're doing the right thing. And quite frankly, I wouldn't walk into court, and this is the metaphor. I wouldn't walk into court with the other side. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't walk in with the other side's attorney, right?
But then we also got to remember the way the market dictates it. Some back a couple months ago, the buyers were absolutely wanting to go with the listing agent just so that they can get the home sold to them. The agents out there, most of them are out there all about money, and they were out there for the commission. So of course, if some buyers thought that if the seller would represent them, the listing agent, then they would get the home, and that was happening for a while.
I'll tell you, that was a shift in the market at the time. I think that's maybe changed a little bit. I think the buyers are becoming a bit savvier. Demand has decreased a bit just for the second quarter of this year, but for the most part, I would agree. Last year was pretty tough. Buyers are being taken by listing agents left and right. And there's really nothing we could do about it, because quite frankly, I'm not one to go around calling the BRE and reporting violations, that kind of thing. For me, it's just bad karma. I don't like doing that stuff. But to answer the question, right? Do. Mr. Pantalon is going just plain loco today, I'll tell you. Give us a call, 855-693-4897. You can ask myself, Alonso, Willie, or Liz a question about what they are representing today, which is property management. And thank you for joining us. You can reach Mr. Willie Soto at 626-246-4686. And the name of his company is W Management. They're here in Uptown Whittier. And longtime residents, I do believe. Mr. Willie is also a broker and real estate agent. And Liz herself is also a real estate agent. Welcome, folks.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for joining us here. We do want to hear about property management. We have not had anyone on the show concerning property management. And after speaking with you guys on the outline and talking about the particular subject matter, can you give us just a short version of how you got involved in property management?
Well, I've been in real estate for close to 13 years. And as the market started turning back in late 2007, 2008, I found myself helping a lot of investors look for property. And at that time, there was a major need for property management. So that's kind of how it fell in my lap. I didn't look for property management. Property management came to me. So I had to embrace it because I didn't know any property management at the time. So I figured, you know what? Let me help these guys out. They're buying from me. Let me continue giving them service. So they offered me the opportunity. I looked at it like an opportunity. And before you know it, property management became my baseline, the foundation of my company now, which now comes before real estate. Because typically real estate, I just work off a referral. I'm not, trying to prospect out there. Our base right now is property management. And then I've known Liz for a couple years. I think a lot of years. Yeah. So I was kind of managing what you want to call is backyard management. And I really wanted to legitimize the management company. I was literally living out of a box. That's what we call it, living out of a box. And
your office was in the back of your trunk.
Basically, I actually had an office, but literally like all my files, because we deal with hundreds of properties, hundreds of tenants and owners combined. So if you could imagine, I'm living off of like a little file box and contracts. I mean, it was crazy to manage all this. So I decided to kind of step it up and say, you know what, I really see that this is, you know, there's a real need out there for the service that I'm providing. So that's when I put management first. And Liz came on board. She really, I mean, did a fantastic job as far as organizing the back office and helping us build the systems that we have today to be able to successfully be able to help owners and manage property and our clients.
And what does that mean in terms of back office? What do you do in the back office?
Normally what I do is I keep track of all the files by address, unit numbers, and just, you need to be organized. I mean, you're taking people's socials, driver's license, and just keep everything in order, because everything has to be in a structure and everything has to be in a system.
So for the listener out there, what is the first thing you do when you're managing a property? You're gonna do a tenant screening. Is that correct? Is that what you're
correct.
talking
We need to
about?
make sure that they fit the criteria.
That's good.
The criteria, which is we verify employment. We also do a credit check, which is with Home Bureau, and then we also make sure that they fit the criteria, because every month we're going to be dealing with these tenants on a monthly basis, and we need to make sure that they're the correct fit for that owner.
And that's one of the primary objectives that a homeowner wants. You know, they want to have their property occupied 100%, and so that's one of the big benefits of using a
Yeah.
property management company.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I always tell Liz and I tell my clients, typically we're not in the property management business. We're really in the relationship business, because I think a lot of people think, oh, we're just managing property. In reality, we're managing people, people's emotions. We're dealing with owners, tenants, I mean, vendors. I mean, so at the end of the day, it's really not the property. We're really managing people. And that's what we base our company, and that's what we've been growing our company out of, building solid relationships with our tenants and our owners, so we can continue to have a long-lasting investment that's profitable for everybody.
With the primary objective being retention, right?
Exactly, retention programs, exactly, and keeping the rents low, you know, so people won't move out. You know, it's always a back and forth, you know, game with that. So
What about areas that have rent control? How do you guys deal with that, or what?
you know, we don't deal with too much rent control areas right now.
Excuse me
Hold
one
that thought.
second.
We're coming up on a break. Don't touch that mouse.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more real estate rant.
Real Estate Rant and AGR Realtors are proud supporters of Michael Aguilar and Associates, advocates for stroke awareness and integrative healthcare.
In February 2012, I suffered a stroke due to high blood pressure. I was rushed to the hospital, where I was admitted for the next 30 days. I was initially told I may have to stay in the hospital for about 3 months, but I made rapid improvements in my recuperation and continued to improve to this day.
When Michael left the hospital, he did not have insurance to cover his rehabilitation, so he focused on integrative healthcare to get better. At the end of 2013, seeing a need for stroke awareness, Michael started his own company, Michael Aguilar and Associates, to focus on creating awareness about the dangers of high blood pressure and stroke.
If you would like more information, please call me at 562-464-7297, or you can visit my website at www.strokeawareness101.com.
Michael Aguilar and Associates, creating awareness and saving lives one person at a time.
Do we have your attention? When it comes to tequila, two things matter: heart and passion.
Never compromising integrity for mass production. Number one Tequila delivers the goods. Taste the heart and passion of Mexico in every bottle.
We make it right. We make it fun. Superior tequila. There's only number one. There's only number one. There's only number one.
Been in an accident? Then you need your vehicle professionally repaired. That's exactly what you get when you bring your vehicle to Greg's Auto Body Repair. Free quotes within minutes. We will provide everything you need for a hassle-free auto body repair, from an accurate estimate to working with your insurance company. We will get your vehicle to its pre-accident condition as soon as possible. Greg's Auto Body has been serving Los Angeles County and local cities since 1970. Call us at 562-789-1300.
A home is the biggest investment in most people's lives. Buying or selling should be a positive experience.
Whether you want to be a wealthy real estate investor or just trying to find a place to call home, at AJR and Associates, we focus on the client's needs.
We understand the market better than most. Let us bring the value to you and make the right choice.
AJR and Associates, making your dream house a reality. Call us today for a free consultation at 562-882-1976. Or you can log on to www.hrrealtors.com.
With a track record of great results, bringing knowledge, wisdom, and expertise to you. Hablamos español. Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis.
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat.
And we are back here at the Real Estate Rant, here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. Alex and Alonso here at the Real Estate Rant. How are you, sir?
Good. Actually, kind of anxious. I want this show to be over.
I would love to taste you.
I'm dying to see what's the score right now with Brazil. With
You
Argentina
had to say that,
and
dude.
Netherlands.
You had
I'm
to say
like,
that. Mr. Pantalones, can we get an
I
update?
would love to taste you.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's not as bad as yesterday's game though. I'm
Oh,
sure.
no, that was just horrible. That was just a letdown.
Embarrassing.
7-1, huh?
Oh, dude. I don't even want to say it. It was horrible. Give us a call, 855-693-4897, or you can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. Joining us in studio today, Mr. Willie Soto and Liz Tarazona, account manager and broker for W Management here in the city of Whittier. You can reach them at 246.
246.
I'm a little dyslexic, yeah.
4686.
4686. And if you happen to be watching the show, you can look at their business card here up on the screen. You can also reach Willie, although, you know what, Willie, I tried emailing you at that email address and it got bounced back.
Yeah, I gotta fix that.
Yeah, okay. So just let you know, so you get back to the office and fix that. You can win a $25 gift card. If you happen to see this particular design, call in at 855-693-4897. And, well, that's Steven's Steakhouse, right? We know what that is. If you happen to be watching the show, if you get this particular design, you can win that gift card. So anyway, we also are proud supporters of Michael Aguilar Associates and Stroke Awareness. You can go to his website at strokeawareness101.com, and we're proud supporters of Stroke Awareness here. As stressed out realtors, we don't like to have strokes, right, Alonso?
I'm not stressed now. I found out Argentina won.
You found out?
Yeah.
What happened?
Latest update. I just seen that.
They score in overtime, or
I believe so,
penalty
because I
shots?
don't think they went to penalties.
Okay, right on. Well, it'll be a good game then, because I recorded it.
Oh, I gotta see that.
Right on. So little World Cup update there from Brazil. Here on the Real Estate Rant. Where else are you going to get that kind of information? You know?
And getting back to our subject.
Yes, absolutely. Getting off subject.
Where did we
there,
left off?
apologize.
I believe Willie was.
I actually had a question, if I may.
Okay.
If I may, okay. You mentioned screening and background check. So what does that mean? Let's say I was a tenant. What does that mean to me as a tenant?
Well, normally on a screening, what I do is I get all your basic information from your social security, driver's license, and I run one bureau check with Experian. And then I'll go ahead and do a criminal and eviction check to make sure everything comes out clear.
And I'll touch on something. The screening really starts with, we have a questionnaire which we call the W questionnaire, because I think we were discussing this yesterday about repeating ourselves all the time, because tenants typically always call us, or what do I need to qualify? So what we did, we created a W questionnaire, which is like, here you go, fill it out. This is what we need. These are the items that we need. And we either email it or hand it to them so they know exactly. So I don't need to repeat myself 1,000 times if I have a vacancy, or Liz. So we just send them that. And then the application. So the application obviously is fully, complete with, personal information that we need to verify employment, income, previous residencies, I don't know, everything. So,
and is that the same process you do? Because you mentioned you manage several properties. Is that criteria for each and every property the same?
For every property is the same. Once Liz came on board, that was part of our quality control, because we wanted to make sure that all our files were complete. And of course, me running around like a crazy, dealing with, fixing up the properties, getting them rented out. Of course, it's normal. I mean, I couldn't get all the information. So once Liz came on board, she really, and she could probably describe the box I was living out of much better than I can,
It was
because she
literally
pulled it
a
out.
little black box and with manila folders and receipts coming out of
It was pretty crazy.
But at least he was organized and he kept them in there. I just needed to sort everything out.
Yeah.
He's very detailed in that aspect. He had everything, but I just needed to sort everything out for him.
Exactly. And so after that, that was our primary thing with W management is quality control, because in management, what I found is not only also the first thing dealing with people, relationships, but it's documentation, making sure you track everything. And that's where a lot of independent owners fail to do. And that's when they get into trouble. Because again, they do it the old school way. And I think we discussed it yesterday by an old school handshake. Hey, here's my house, here's your keys. And
not only to mention that it's very time consuming.
oh, exactly, very time consuming. So again, it's very normal to say that if you're an owner, I mean, and managing is not your full-time job, and you have another living as far as work is concerned. I mean, that's not going to be at the top of your list.
There's those owners that think that that by managing the apartments themselves, they're gonna have better control of their tenants. Is that a something you recommend for an owner to do?
Is that a fallacy?
Well, one thing that I also started coming across is that there is a lot of owners that want to maintain control of their properties, and I totally get it. I mean, that's just human nature. They want to know everything what's going on with their property. So what we also do, we do consulting, and what the consulting includes is making sure that they're basically going through the same sequence that we're going through when qualifying, renting, making sure that they have all the forms, and we act as a mediator at that point. We want to make sure that if they, for a very small fee compared to what you would normally pay to a management.
And what is the normal fees that you're talking about that a management?
Normal fees that a management company would typically charge are anywhere between 8 to 10%. Yeah.
And I know that some also charge like the half of first month's rent, or
yeah, half of first month's rent. I mean, and that's the thing with property management. There's no black and white. I mean, it's really, when it comes to contracts, yes. I mean, those contracts, I mean, you have to follow it.
But the fees, excuse me for interrupting,
Yeah.
fees are negotiable?
Yeah, completely negotiable.
Just like in real estate.
Exactly.
Negotiable.
Everything's negotiable.
Well, it is real estate.
Oh, yeah. Not only that, but you also
What the hell is wrong with you?
You also have to be a broker, I understand, to
Absolutely.
have a property management
Yeah.
company.
I got my broker license. I've been doing real estate for a long time, but I didn't have my broker's license. And then, after managing these properties, I realized, like, you know what? I mean, I'm taking on a lot of responsibility. And if I want to grow the company, I need to become a broker. And that was one of my first motivations to say, okay, this is how the broker is really going to help me, the licensing. Other than that, I mean, I always worked for, a smaller company or franchise, but that's where I really seen the value in order for it to continue to grow.
Right on. So you guys used the term lease a little bit, and I just kind of wanted to clarify, what does that mean now, the word lease, and also how does that apply now to a management company?
Well, when we do leasing, we offer the service. It's just a way to let an owner know that we provide a leasing service. Because believe it or not, there's management companies that won't lease it out for you. They'll take your management, they'll manage the tenant, they'll manage the property, but they won't do the leasing.
So the lease is just like the credit screening and getting the tenant in for one shot? Is that what it is?
Yeah, making sure that they qualify, that they're, tailored for their property, that they're the right tenant.
And then that's it. You have to do with it. You're not going to be collecting monthly rents or issuing 3-day notices.
Exactly. And the reason why I offer that service is because my objective is to get more management. And that's where I sit down with them. I ask them questions. We have a series of questions to qualify the owners, because I don't want to work with every owner as much as I don't want to work with every tenant. Well, we don't. So, because, I mean, we're dealing with a bunch of emotions here. So if they fit our criteria and we're a match as far as personalities, and we can grow a relationship, because these are long-term relationships. It's not like you sell a house and goodbye, I'll see you, in the next 7 years when you need to purchase again. This is an ongoing relationship. I mean, it could last I've had relationships of 7 years right now, with the tenant. And they're great relationships. And my motto is communication along with your relationship. So that's what's important to us.
I believe you try to keep them happy, right? So they won't leave anywhere else.
Absolutely. And our thing to keeping them happy is making sure that the lines of communication are always open, whether it's a phone call, email, text messaging, fax, mail. So, I mean, it's completely open. I mean, we've opened ourselves up to all kinds of methods of communication for them.
So say I'm a tenant and my air conditioning went out in the middle of the night. Am I going to call you and you're going to be on it the next morning, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's how it works. And they know and they understand because we also have an addendum. There's an instruction on, I call it an operating agreement for all three of us, the tenant, the owner, and myself or the company, where if something breaks down and it's not an emergency, give us anywhere between 48 to 72 hours to assess it, fix it,
What would you consider an emergency?
An emergency, obviously, if there's a busted pipe, water pipe. Electrical hazard,
gas leak,
it's raining, the roof is leaking or caving in, the foundation is coming apart. I don't,
the foundation. Wait a minute.
Hey, you get weird stuff happening all the time.
Well, I guess if there's an earthquake or something.
Exactly.
Right?
So your phone's on 24 hours a day.
Yeah, pretty much. Now it's a little bit more. I think we have it a little bit more under control. But at the beginning, trying to take in calls and figure things out, I mean, it was a little crazy. Everybody follows the system right now. Even the tenants are on a system as much as the owners are.
And the reason why I am asking all these questions is because I actually work for a property management company.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, in the West Side and on Wilshire Boulevard, one of those high rises. And like I say, I'm there doing the graveyard, and just waiting for those phone calls. Waiting for those phone calls when they come in, and we have a list.
That's on-site property management.
Yeah, it's on-site. We cater to the rich folks, and those people, they're paying anywhere from $7,000 to $9,000 a month, so they want their service right away.
And they say, hey Alonso, I want a 12-pack of beer, go grab it from
no, they got their people to do that. So that's what the new service now, Postmates. I don't know if you heard of them now, but you can use them now, and it's actually was a service from San Francisco. Now you can basically anywhere that doesn't have delivery, they have to deliver for you now.
Really?
That's terribly sexy.
That is
I've
awesome.
never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's called Postmates, and then if you want a pack of cigarettes and you're willing to pay, then they'll go get you that pack of cigarettes.
I saw a movie like that where the guys they're being couriers with bicycles in New York.
It was in San Francisco. Actually, started in San Francisco, and now it's very big in Beverly Hills. Don't touch that mouse. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more real estate rant.
It's one thing to own a business, it's another to promote it. That's why thousands of business owners rely on Monster Marketing Group. Design, print, mail, custom mailers, all for as little as 29 cents delivered. That includes postage. Send to a neighborhood, zip code, or an entire city. With just a simple call, 888-49-MONSTER, you can easily promote your business, sales, events, grand openings, send coupons, and much more.
Your mail delivers in as little as 5 days. No dealing with the mailing list or paperwork. Monster Marketing does all the heavy lifting. Get started now by calling 888-49-MONSTER or go to monsterng.com.
Monster Marketing Group. We deliver, we give you results, we can prove it.
Curiosity often leads to trouble. If I had a world of my own.
Hey, it's Chef Bev Lazo from the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and the crew for our first annual exclusive Mad Hatter Costume Tea Party on July 17th from 5:30 to 10 p.m. There will be food, music, coffee, tea, and guess what? We're going to be hosting our show live that night, followed by our favorite funny guy, Jamario McLean. All only for $15. But you better hurry. There's only limited seats available, so buy your tickets today at www.irantradio.com by clicking on the Mad Hatter button. So find your biggest hats and craziest costume and come join the fun.
I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye. I'm late.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all.
Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmark, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
It's hot out here. I need a drink.
Have a mucho macho michelada.
What's a michelada?
Michelada is a Mexican Bloody Mary made with beer. All you have to do is get bucket-sized michelada, open it up, pour it in your favorite beer, and you're good.
What if you don't like beer?
You can use it in lemon lime soda, vodka with lime, or tequila with lemon lime soda.
Sounds delicious. Where do you find it?
You can find it at your favorite store, or you can go to muchomachomichelada.com.
Find us on Twitter and Facebook.
What's up, guys? Sports Guru
and Bud Knocker
from the Sportscast, Wednesdays, 12 to 2 Pacific on Rant Radio Network.
We got everything you need to know about sports. We got all the latest video highlights. We got You Got Knocked Out. We got Bonehead of the Week. We're talking sports, drinking beer, and having a good time.
If you missed the show, go to rantradionetwork.com and listen on demand. So check us out every Wednesday, 12 to 2 on Rant Radio Network.
Live from the Rant Radio Network, you're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis,
And your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat.
And we are back here at the Real Estate Rant. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez. Here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. Thank you for joining us. Top of the hour here. Give us a call, 855-693-4897, or you can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. We won't get to your questions here on the show, but
I haven't seen one female since we got here. This place is a sausage fest.
You're killing me, Mr. Pantalones. I appreciate it. In-house today, live, Mr. Willie Soto, broker owner of W Management, along with account manager Liz Terrazona. Thank you for joining us again, folks. And we were discussing.
Thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to come out here and share with you guys.
Very welcome.
Of course,
Actually, we're always glad to learn something new and see new faces in our show.
Thank you.
And you guys are the professionals here. So quite frankly, you're giving the information out, because I'll be honest with you, every show we've ever done, we've been doing this for over a year now. I've learned something at every show.
Absolutely. There's something that we get out of every show. And not only that, I think it's good for our audience that, they get to educate themselves and be very well-rounded.
Yeah, exactly. So we left off, and this is just one of the questions that we talked about before when we spoke. So you guys, as a property management company, you handle the app process for the people that you do property management for?
Yes.
Okay, so somebody comes in and a tenant comes in, and so you're handling the entire application process.
Yes.
The landlord doesn't get involved in any of that stuff?
No. They have obviously the last decision. I mean, anything that comes our way, we like to run it by the owner, get them involved, and making sure that they understand that they're still in somewhat control of the process.
So say there's multiple tenants that want to rent the apartment, then you guys would suggest to the owner, well, this one looks like a better fit, or is that what it is, or how does that work?
Typically, when we have multiple tenants, we kind of start grading them by like who got in all the documentation, who's complete. Because I mean, the application process could be very scattered. People take their time, they don't look motivated, even though they're calling me on the phone. Hey, I don't got your documents. So we typically start grading it by that. Okay, this person's serious. They got in all their information, a copy of their paycheck stubs. The full application fully complete. So we start grading them by then, and if by a certain period we have to make a decision, then we present it to the owner. Hey, we got these 3 applicants. This person, completely has everything in place. This one, 80%. This one, 60%. So, I mean, you decide. I mean,
now you mentioned grading. Is that like A, B, C, D, E, F, or
not typical
scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, kind of. It's just more going with our judgment, and it's more of a judgment call, but at the same time a professional call, because the paperwork speaks for themselves. We don't.
I walk in the door with a 5 on my head, right?
Yeah. No, we're pretty. We promote equal housing opportunity.
Equal housing opportunity, exactly.
So.
It wasn't that funny, guys. Take it easy, okay? We're like
I know.
7.
I have tenants from different walks of life, so it's I work with them, with everyone.
All right, good. I got off track a little bit. I apologize. So over here making jokes.
There was a question here that says, "What are old school landlords looking for?"
Old school landlords.
Yeah, what is your competition, Willie?
Oh, you're talking about property management companies.
property
No, there's a
management.
lot. Wait a minute. Don't put me on the spot. No, there's a lot of great management companies out there. I won't talk about any management company.
Come on now, break bread.
There's what I'm going with. Like, there's a lot of old school landlords or management companies. Is that there's a lot of landlords that still want to maintain control of their properties, and for many years, and I work with a lot of those clients that for years they've managed their own property, but they've given me the opportunity to manage it simply because of the systems that I've been able to apply, which allows them to still stay in control but still have me there helping them and overseeing.
But what does that mean in control? I mean, I don't know. What does that even mean?
That's in control, meaning that they want to know. They want to make sure that they're receiving the payment. They want to make sure that they have all the documentation. They want to make sure that if they can pick up the call, they can call the tenant. That if they can walk into that if they want to walk their property, they can walk with the property. And that's an old school landlord. I mean, literally, that will go knock at your door. Hey, how's things going?
Yeah, but wouldn't you recommend that though? I mean,
Yes, I recommend that, but then a lot of owners, those type of owners, wouldn't work with the management company because, again, typically management companies, what they want to do is take full control. Separate the owner from the property. We're gonna manage it from here. Don't contact the tenant. Don't contact us. We'll contact you, basically. So I see that there's a huge market out there. And that's where my consulting comes in, which is it's part of my management, but that's where we kind of still allow the owner to have and maintain control of their rents, but we're helping them oversee the documents, making sure that they have, all the disclosures in place. And as you guys know, I mean, they're adding disclosures here in the state of California like once a week. So
not only that, you want to make sure they're doing all the evictions or if any evictions properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you say old school landlord, it reminds me of my pops when he first bought his units. Where he went out and he actually changed the locks on one of the guys that he wanted.
Yeah, and you can't do that nowadays. I mean,
you couldn't do it back then either. But an old school landlord, that's what comes to my mind when I hear old school landlord. I remember my dad going out there, kicking the guy out. He wasn't paying his rent, and he changed the locks on it.
Yeah. A bat and a couple homies.
20 minutes later, sure enough, we had the police explaining us, you can't do that.
Yeah, and that's the old school landlord. Handshake. Here's the keys. Take care of my house. Send me the check by mail. And there's a lot of professional tenants. I mean, remember,
oh yeah, let's talk about that
growing.
a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, the population's growing. There's a lot of things happening. Laws are changing, so people need to stay up to date. There's a lot of professional tenants that know how to take advantage.
Well, what is a professional tenant? Yeah.
I want to call a professional tenant someone that knows the loopholes, how to take advantage, how to identify a weak owner from a strong owner. And they are out there, because even when I first started management, I got taken advantage of quite a few times. That's how I learned.
So do you guys do your evictions yourself when that comes in mind, or
no, we don't.
We use a
service.
A service.
Okay,
yeah. Because we just judge code on.
Because we just had one of those. What was her name? Paulina.
Oh yeah, MT evictions. They actually know. They actually
Yeah.
know.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so that's what I was.
Yeah,
She
we
was on
actually
about 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
I like Paulina, but when I call her, it's not good. So she does good service.
Meaning that you would rather not.
Yeah,
evict the tenant.
yeah.
Okay.
If I'm calling her, it's because something wrong's happening. So
Yeah, because that was a good show. I like that. Paulina did well in that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. So now, in terms of exactly. In terms of W management, you called yourself a hybrid company.
Mhm.
How so?
A hybrid company because we're flexible. We don't stick to just we don't have a tunnel vision of this is the way we do business. We're very flexible. We deal with commercial, residential, multifamily, And along with that brings us a lot of different scenarios about managing and dealing with people, whether it's a business opportunity, sitting down and consulting, qualifying. So, and along with the consulting part for the owner. So it's not so black and white with us. We're very diverse, and being able to offer services probably not out there.
Now,
You know?
does your company also have like a on-site staff that does maintenance repairs, or how do you guys go about that?
Have you met Liz Alonso?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I'm sorry, answer the question.
That was
Come
like
on now.
a bad sense of humor.
Answer the question.
No, that's another thing we
don't like that, you know.
At least the way that I was able to develop the company too, we try to take advantage of a lot of free services, and I'll get into answer your question as far as the vendors are concerned. That way we can go ahead and keep extend that price reduction to our client, because we don't have these elaborate systems. You don't need major systems to manage properties. All you need is a proper tracking systems, rent rolls, and the proper reporting to make sure that the owner's informed and the tenant is well aware of what's going on. As far as vendors are concerned, we don't have anybody on staff. Everybody is subbed out. That way it reduces our liability. That's another thing. We allow the owner to make a decision. We don't want to make if they have someone that they rather use, or they know a handyman or a contractor that they're very comfortable with, hey, great, go ahead and use them. Give us the number prior to us managing the property.
Just real quick, you kind of brought up a question, because I asked you about the application process. If you guys are taking the application, and now you are a licensed broker and
Yes.
real estate agent, right? And you guys are screening these individuals, does that make you their agent as well?
Yes.
Okay,
There is
so-
a dual agency involved.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so now doesn't that put you in a position now to advocate for the tenant as well?
Yes. Yes.
So in terms of what's expected from a tenant, other than paying the rent, obviously, what would you expect from a tenant?
The first thing that we would expect from a tenant when renting for us is, number one, maintain the property. Just how we delivered you the property, maintain it in the same condition. I know it's hard. I mean, you live in a property. I mean, things happen. Life happens. Especially if you've been living there for many years. So that's kind of all we ask for. Stay in communications. Stay in contact with us. That's part of our agreement. That
keeping nuisance down.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
No parties.
Because we're gonna give them the right of quiet enjoyment.
Yeah, we gotta give them that right of quiet enjoyment.
So,
but
and I
also for all the other tenants.
and I try to tell all my tenants, like, listen, I mean, we're not an on-site property management company, so this is your home. Treat it like you've lived here for many years. I mean, respect it. Respect your neighbors. I can't speak for your neighbors, but that's what we expect from you. I don't want to have calls from anybody or from any of your neighbors or the owner driving by. I mean, that makes me look bad. That makes you look bad. I'm choosing you. Let's try to build a relationship, and I'll do my job and you do yours. So I don't know if that kind of...
No, it does. It does. I mean, other than paying the rent, 'cause that's the expectation, the obvious expectation, but the other expectation is that, hey, take care of the property.
Yeah, that's it. We're not going to bug you. We're not going to go and, sneak around and see what you're doing and who's visiting you or who's doing that. If things are in order, because we typically, I'll do my rounds, because we manage properties in 4 counties, LA, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino County. So I have a route,
We're coming up on a break. Hold that thought.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more Real Estate Rant.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra-modern, ultra-clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today, or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
ProTech Carpet Tile and Care provides professional cleaning services for carpet, tile, grout, upholstery, and fine area rugs.
ProTech technicians are professionally trained and certified cleaning and restoration experts.
We specialize in restoring damage caused by heavy soil and odor.
We can remove challenging spots such as coffee, tea, ink, gum, wine, and many more.
We have saved our customers thousands of dollars on new flooring and furniture expenses with our advanced cleaning processes.
Call for a free estimate at 562-447-4300 and visit us on our website, www.myprotectsite.com.
Hey, this is Joe Perez, owner at ProTech. Just reminding you that ProTech Carpet and Tile Care is your professional choice.
What's wrong? I can't stop craving a cigarette. I just quit. Hey, what are you smoking on?
Oh, this? Best e-juice on the planet. Burst of flavor, of course.
What's that?
Only the best alternative to smoking with a great flavor. It has a burst of flavor in every puff.
Well, does it have nicotine?
It comes in different levels, including 0. They have 20 flavors and more coming. All the products are made in the U.S. Check them out at www.burstoflavor.com or call them at 855-WE-BURST.
Hey, let's burst together.
It's not just flavor, it's an experience. Cigarettes, you've met your match.
Looking for some swag? Make sure to check out monsterclothing.com. They got everything from v-necks, t-shirts, hoodies, baby dolls, and remember, custom orders are always welcome, and much more. They're just not on the site yet. www.monsterclothingco.com or call them at 888-49-MONSTER. 888-49-MONSTER. Hablamos español. Doo-doo-doo!
Live from the Rant Radio Network, you're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis,
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat.
And we are back here at the Real Estate Rant. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez, here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. Welcome back to our last segment of the hour today, and we do have Willie Soto, broker owner, and Liz. Now, take it easy. We're not Netherlands fans.
They must have gone for the Netherlands.
Yeah, exactly. Our engineer must be
or he's
from
still
the
crying.
Netherlands.
He's still crying for the Blas Brazil just suffered.
Good for you.
Anyway,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Willie Soto, broker owner, and Liz Terrazona, account manager from W Management. You can reach them at 626-246-4686, and I did get that right this time. Thank you, sir.
So what is expected from your landlords, Willie?
Let's let Liz, because she deals on that part. She knows because she hears a lot from the tenants. So
What we expect from the landlords is to let us do our job. A lot of times what happens is they interfere and they just make everything a little bit hectic or worse than it is. So we still have our owners that come in and want to still take over, but we put them in line and we try to have them step back and let us do our job. You hired us to do our job. Let us do our job. And they'll creep up now and then, but we have them in control.
yeah, and not to contradict as far as still keeping the owner in control. I mean, we're talking about extreme cases, when what we expect from the owners, because we have an open door policy. It's like, come in, talk to us, let's sit down, but not.
You'd be cracking the whip, in other words.
Exactly.
Yeah, right on.
So what happens when more people move in that you actually put on a lease agreement or on a contract?
Typically, what ends up happening is part of our addendum, our W management addendum, we have a clause on there that if there's additional, and again, we're not an on-site property management company, so unless we drive by and we see a bunch of cars all the time, or we start getting complaints, or we have a condo, especially an association will help us, because they'll be the first ones to
or even the neighbors will say, hey, there's too many people coming in and out of the unit.
So at that point, we have a clause in the W addendum, and that clearly states on there that if there is to be someone else that is living there without our authorization or owner's authorization, then there's a $150 a week guest fee. And that's if they abuse it again, if it's going to become a problem.
And usually, I guess when you rent an apartment or a home, you want to have guests over for a weekend or something. And how do you know actually how many days they can stay there? How do you justify that?
It'll state on the contract after 15 days. They have to give us notice that someone is staying in the property.
So it's after 15 days, because I've seen on some contracts, where where they state if you're there a day or two, at least 2 days during the week, then you're considered a tenant. And now your water's gonna go up, your light's gonna go up, so you're gonna pay more money on that.
Exactly, and that again, it's a case by case scenario because again, we deal with single family condos, we deal with some apartments, so it's a case by case scenario when it comes down to that.
So if I can interrupt, give us a call, 855-693-4897. Mr. Pantalones, if we can throw the answer up for the design deal, because we got no phone calls. Looks like Alonso and I are going to be going to Lazy Dog restaurant. Thank you for not calling in, because we will have a nice dinner for tonight. Absolutely,
it's only $25. You're going to have to pick up the rest of the
Hey, some appetizers, right?
We'll be eating appetizers and maybe one drink, but anyway.
We'll split it.
Let's throw up the design deal, Mr. Pantalones, if you will. The answer of this particular question was on a multiple choice. And, I'll be honest with you, looking at the property, I didn't think of it as an American classic, but it looks like one, right? And what was the other answer, Mr. Pantalones? If you throw the other thing up there real quick, the American Colonial. Those would be the two obvious answers, but the true answer is an American Foursquare. I've never even heard of it before, okay?
The only Foursquare that I remember is back in elementary school. Did you ever play Foursquare?
Yeah.
Did you?
Absolutely, with the little tether ball. Not tether ball, but
like the little handball.
Yeah, the handballs,
the red ones or the yellow ones. You ever played that, Willie, when you were in elementary?
Yes, probably. Or which one was the other one you went?
No, Foursquare. Foursquare was
I don't remember.
It was a big square with four squares, and the object was trying to make the other people lose the ball, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, those are little kid games we used to play. I went to
I never knew they named the house after that.
I went to elementary school here in Whittier, and they used to have the Foursquare, but I never even heard of that before. And it's back in the northern Midwest, Chicago, Minnesota area, that particular part of the world. These homes are built in between the 1890s and the 1930s, and they still exist today. That's how well they were built. They were handcrafted wood construction.
Full of asbestos, huh?
No, there's no asbestos on this.
Because it was the old, back in the time.
It was the old plaster pegboards with the plaster over the top of it. Yeah, it's interesting. Reading up on that. So anyway, that was a design deal for this week.
Wrong. So going back to our outline now.
Yeah, going back to the guests. Okay.
So what happens now, Willie or Lisa? Was it
Liz?
So what happens if a tenant turns off or the landlord turns off utilities on the property?
You can't do that.
You can't do that, right? That's a no-no, huh?
I get it all the time. I'm going to turn off their water. You cannot turn off their water. It doesn't matter whether you're going through, an eviction process and they haven't paid your rent for 6 months.
Even if they're not paying.
Even if they're not paying, you cannot turn off any services, and unless they're paying for it themselves and they got shut off. But if you're the owner and it's your and you put it as your responsibility as part of the contract, you have to.
So then it would be a smart idea to get the bills under the tenant's name.
Absolutely. If it's an independent company, if it's an independent property, a single family, a condo, yes, get the services. You clearly stated on the contract that the owner doesn't pay for anything. I mean, there's some cases that the owner says, you know what, I want to maintain my property in the exterior landscaping, so I'm going to pay gardening and trash
and the water, so they can water the grass and keep it green. Huh?
Exactly.
So what does a tenant do if they find mold on their property or possibly termites?
Let us know immediately. That's one of the first things is
we'll get the vendor out there right away, and we have to take care of it.
Yeah, that would be considered kind of like an emergency. Hey, if there's mold, any signs, let's get someone out there immediately.
And that's just to avoid lawsuits or
lawsuits first thing.
Now, is that something, because you mentioned control before, the landlord wants control, but now you guys are taking in the rent and paying the landlord. Is that something you take off the top, or do you need to get landlord approval to get that stuff done?
No, obviously there's a process. If you get a call in, we assess what's the problem. We go out there, we look visually, inspect,
get an estimate,
and then we start making decisions as how the payment's going to be, or how the project's going to be taken care of. So there's a process.
Tell us a funny story of one of the experiences you had in one of your properties.
Funny story.
PG-13, of course.
PG-13. Gosh. You know what?
Okay, while you're thinking about that,
let me think about that one.
We talked about this a little bit, and you kind of went a little bit in depth about this. What is the biggest motivation to a landlord?
The biggest motivation to a landlord is vacancy. They want to fill in the vacancy. When they don't have a management company and you're an independent owner, the first thing they want to do is vacancy. And the motivating factors, they might have a mortgage. They might have personal bills that they got to take care of. And before getting into the investment, because maybe they got excited of hearing these late night TV shows, get an investment, get rich quick, off real estate, they forgot about the contracts and understanding how this game works. And so what ends up happening, they just give away the keys.
Not only that, understanding vacancy is a big thing, because if you're relying on that rent to pay the mortgage on it, that can, within a matter of months, you can lose your property. And I've seen that happen to some of the landlords.
Yeah.
They bought some units, and they thought it was gonna be fine and dandy. They're gonna find tenants and be 100% occupied all the time, and that wasn't the case, and they ended up losing the home.
Yeah, and I hear that all the time, because sometimes tenants that I'm not managing the property for, they call me, and I hear it all the time where a tenant's like, hey, I got a notice, they're gonna foreclose on the property. What should I do? I'm paying my rent on time, and it can be very complicated at that point, because there's some owners that think that they're investors because they bought their first home, probably got it with very little money down when the market was.
Now, can an owner collect on a home even though they're in foreclosure?
Rightfully, they can. It's their property. They're on title. They can continue to collect. Obviously, that's a judgment call on the tenant at that point, what they want to do. Because if not, if the owner's smart and they know what they're doing, they're going to, submit a 3-day notice, because rightfully and legally, it's their home. So, yes.
Yes.
Unless, and I'm sorry to interrupt you on that, unless it's in foreclosure and the property has been in foreclosure, it's vacant, now the owner rents it out, he has to disclose that.
So there is a proper disclosure that's mandatory for you to give notice to the new prospecting tenant.
Hey, you know what? This is in foreclosure. You
want to continue to do it, and now it's the ball's on their court and their decision.
Yeah, they want to know whether or not they're going to get kicked out in 3 months, right?
Exactly.
Move all their stuff.
And I know California, especially with the market we just had, we're still dealing with it. There was a lot of laws that came into place to protect tenants, because what was happening, they were getting kicked out. It wasn't their fault. They kept on making their payments. The owner's the one that started defaulting. So
so as an advocate now for the consumer, we are up on a minute, right, Mr. Pantalones? I just wanted to mention, and we talked about this briefly the other day, if let's say a situation where, let's say right now we're in the hot season and a tenant has an air conditioner that's not working, and they are under contract, they're supposed to have air conditioning on their property, and we talked about the tenant now putting their money into an escrow account and advising the landlord, hey, this needs to be fixed, your rent is in escrow. Is that something they can do?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of a protection, but you mentioned that there's a certain duration of time.
Well, as far as duration of time, the owner has to act on it, because the owner the tenant can keep up to 1 month's rent for any repairs. Obviously, anything beyond that, we're getting into more legal issues, notices and whatnot. But if it's something that needs to be fixed, yes, the tenant can hold up to 1 month's rent.
Now, is that a requirement that they provide air conditioning in an apartment?
No, it's not a requirement. A requirement is heating, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide.
Habitable living.
Exactly. So if you disclose, okay, my unit doesn't come with an AC, you're fine with it, and you agree to it,
you're totally fine. Just buy enough fans, especially with this heat right now. So,
all right. Well, we're coming up on the end of the show. Liz and Willie, thank you for joining us.
Very glad to have you guys here.
Thank you guys once again.
A lot of information we didn't get a chance to cover.
Yeah, there's a lot more to the outline. Please join us next week here, same time, same place on the Rant Radio Network.
Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Rant Radio. Make sure to join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on the Rant Radio Network, where we talk about solutions to your real estate problems.
The views and opinions expressed by the host or any guest on this show are encouraged to be followed up by a professional tax advisor or attorney, as we are not qualified or authorized to give advice in two areas: legal matters and tax matters.